Hey, how's it going, everybody? Tall Tesla guy here, and I'm going to dive into something today that I think about all the time, and you probably would too if you were driving an EV, a Tesla specifically, I guess in this case, but anything other than tradition. I'm going to talk about what it's like to actually have a Tesla, to actually drive it as a daily vehicle. Speaking specifically on, range anxiety, taking it for long road trips, driving it as, day to day, into the office, around town, stuff like that. And also touch on the cost to charge, right? The cost, because the cost is a huge thing, especially now. So you always want to try to figure that out. So we're going to dive into that a little bit too, and then talk about some people that tried to do EVs without being a Tesla and some of the experiences they had. So sit back, relax. You guys are watching the Tall Tesla guy. So I want to start right into the experience, right? The experience of the car. And I've talked about this ad nauseum in other videos, but it's a great thing to kind of express here. And it's the comfort of the vehicle. The vehicle is comfortable. Now I'm 6'5", as you guys know from other videos, but I have more than enough elbow room, shoulder room, head height. You can see here, I've got about 4 inches or so from my head to the roof. It's far enough away that I certainly don't hit the roof, but I don't feel any heat coming off it in the heat of the summertime or anything like that. And more importantly, there's enough room for our toddler in the back. Now she's a 4, so she's not really a toddler anymore, I guess, but our growing family, I should say. And on top of that, as a bonus, I can put my oversized golden retriever in the backpack, and he is more than comfortable. So in that case, in that aspect, it's been fantastic. Fantastic. There's so much storage and room in the car. 76 cubic feet of storage space with the seats folded down, which we don't do often, but with them folded down, it's there. And there's more than enough sub compartments and cubby holes and things like that to store the little things that you need. It's just been great. Absolutely great. I love that aspect of the car. But it kind of leads me to the concern that people have in the beginning, which is range anxiety. Now, range anxiety is a real thing. And if you're not familiar with it, it's when you go to an EV and there isn't gas stations everywhere, charging stations everywhere, in spite of what you know, to charge the vehicle up. And you're used to the gasoline experience where you pull in, 5 minutes later, you get yourself a coffee and get back in the car and you're gone. It doesn't work like that with an EV, no matter how fast the charging is. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, Tesla is the fastest charger that you can get. The Tesla V3 Supercharged will charge from 0, which you never would have. So the lowest I've gone is 5%, but down from 5% to 60 in 10 minutes. Now, 10 minutes may seem like a long time if you're comparing it to, a stop and go at a gas station, but it's more than enough time to get out of the car, walk around a little bit, grab that coffee, that same coffee, get back in the car and go. And it hasn't, on my experience, on longer road trips, hindered my enjoyment of the road trip, the drive, the experience, anything like that. Added too much time to it. In fact, people that have taken it exclusively on, say, a 24-hour road trip, it only added maybe an hour of time, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most, depending on the charges that they were getting. So range anxiety was never really there in a Tesla because you get 330 miles of range on a full charge. Now, that's varying depending on the weather, how fast you drive, stuff like that. But on average, I was getting about 300 miles. Now, 300 miles, though it's less than 330, it's more than I was getting in my ICE vehicle anyway, my gasoline vehicle. And similarly, we have another gasoline vehicle that we have that gives us about 280 maybe on a tank of gas. So as an average, now I know that there's crazy fuel efficiency. If you don't take it a hybrid, gasoline vehicles that'll give you more, 350 maybe even 400 or so. But on average, you put trucks and SUVs in there and stuff like that too, and you're not going to get much better than 300 miles anyway. So if you take that part of it away, I can tell you with Teslas, they have 50,000. They just installed, in fact, there was an article that just came out. They just installed their 50,000th supercharger. 50,000 supercharger. Now, it's a special looking one. I'm not even sure if it's going to work or something like that. They put it in there maybe as a show, but nonetheless, 50,000 superchargers. Now, I think that's globally too. There's about 25 or so thousand in the United States. But more importantly, they're really everywhere you want to be. Now, there's an asterisk on that. You may want to go to this remote national park or something like that, and they're not going to be there. But you're also not going to find a gas station there either. So if you go back to where you want to be, they're all along the highways. There are even some remote areas where I live now in Maine, and it's never been an issue. In fact, the route planning software in Tesla is so good in a sense of, routing you to superchargers, planning your trip based on how long you need to be there, that you can actually put your destination in the car and it will say, hey, get to this supercharger, charge for 5 minutes, get to the next one, charge for 10 minutes, go to this one, charge for 30. And say you get to that first one and there's a, Chick-fil-A or something like that, you want to stop and eat and you're there for half an hour, it'll automatically adjust your route so you don't need to go to the next one or the one after that. And it'll give you a state of charge or how much charge you're going to have left when you actually arrive at your destination. Now, some people don't like the map. They're stuck on Waze. They're stuck on, Apple Maps, whatever it is. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay in spite of the technology that the car does have. But I have never had a problem with the maps. I think they're great. They're descriptive. It's a visual satellite view, which is nice. It'll show you restaurants. It'll show you superchargers, even destination chargers on there, which is great too. And the routing software gets you to the point where you don't even have to worry about range anxiety. And honestly, I had it when I first got the car, and as soon as I got it and drove around in it, it was gone. Never had range anxiety again. But that leads me to my third point here, my second one maybe, in how much does it cost? People ask me that all the time. Yeah, but how much do you pay to charge it? It is not free, 100%, and I'll be the first one to tell you it is not free. But I can also tell you that it is cheaper than a gasoline vehicle. Our gasoline vehicle that I was talking about before has about an 18-gallon tank. It's a little bit bigger. It's got a little bit more space inside of it, but it costs us $85 or so to fill it up. It's almost $4 a gallon for gas, which is bananas, but that's a different subject, a different topic. So $85 to fill that car up, and that lasts about a week. So about $85 a month, $85 a week at 4 weeks in a month is going to give you 340 miles or $340, I guess, a month, right, to fill it up. Now, when I was charging at my house, I had a 240 outlet in my garage. I was getting about, it was adding about $30 a month to my utility bill, which is about $120 a month. Now, I don't have the garage with the 240 anymore, and I'm using a semi-public charger, I guess. It's cheaper in a sense. It's run by solar, but we still have to pay for it. And what I get from it, I actually went back and added up all of my fees that I've been paying, and I'm spending about $100 a month. So it's way more than $30 I was spending on my own personal garage charging station that I had, but about $100 a month. So I'm charging the Tesla for about $100 a month versus about $300 a month that we're paying in our gasoline vehicle. So bar none, it is cheaper. Now, if you go to a supercharger every time, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Some of the superchargers are up to about 40 cents per kilowatt hour, which is going to cost you about $20 to fill it up. To charge it up, I should say. And if you're charging up every day, you're going to spend a lot more for that than I am spending now. Now, I can say that I don't ever burn, and I don't run through the battery every day. It just doesn't work like that. I'm not driving 300 miles a day. Even when I was going into an office that took me about an hour to get there, an hour to get home, I was using about half the battery, maybe. Half the battery. And then the rest of it, I was charging at night when I was at home. So it didn't really become an issue. So I can say that, though Tesla is not a cost savings vehicle, in the end, it ended up costing the same amount for our Tesla as it did for our gasoline vehicle. So when you think of it like that, the cost savings are definitely there. No oil changes. I'm not paying for gas every week, and it sort of adds up. You get to a point where you're not spending as much, and it makes it almost like a cost savings vehicle, and it's super fun to drive. So looking back on it, I would say that I will save money with a Tesla, and I am honestly a Tesla fan forever, which you guys could probably figure out by the number of videos that are on here talking about it. But either way, I absolutely love it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope this helped you out a little bit if you're on the fence making decisions. The prices are bananas right now, and you can save money on it. So taking advantage of it, I guarantee you're never going to look back on it. But either way, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, week, month so far, and that you're staying safe out there. Thanks for watching, everybody.